After a crazy few years, Disney has finally admitted that things need to change. But before we get into it, you need to know that this isn't a hate-bashing video like you've probably scrolled by in the past. This is not that at all, I promise. If you didn't know, Disney's recent shareholder meeting had a lot on the line, and all of these studios like Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm were all at risk. The gist is that two shareholders wanted to take over the company and make some pretty weird changes because they felt Disney was ruining these studios. And I know most of you probably agree Disney has made some pretty bad mistakes recently, but these two guys were planning on making Disney even weirder. Under their reign, there's a good chance Encanto, Black Panther, and Moana would have never seen the light of day, and that is just insane to imagine. These are not only a few of the most popular Disney films in decades, but these two guys genuinely believe these films ruined Disney. So obviously these two guys failed their takeover, and now, here we are.
It doesn't even make any sense! I'm the eldest boy! I am the eldest boy!
Disney, despite winning this battle, still needs to win the war, and the war is with themselves. Hi, I'm your host Rob, and on this episode of Atomic Vision, today's special guest is Steamboat Willie. Oh, thank God, it's the actual cartoon character and not that awful horror knockoff. Since 2020, Disney has made some truly dumb mistakes that have been haunting them for the last 4 years. By maximizing quantity over quality, Disney got complacent and began pumping out projects left and right without even asking if we even care. Like, remember when Disney sent 3 fantastic Pixar films to Disney Plus instead of theaters, and then graced us with Lightyear, a film that confused people more than excited them instead? I enjoyed that film, but the potential there was wasted on a generic sci-fi concept. Instead of focusing on their stronger properties, they left to die on streaming. Luca and Turning Red are still some of the most watched Pixar films on Disney Plus, and the decision to send those to streaming for free was a gigantic mistake. Another massive what the is whatever is happening at Marvel Studios. I am a die-hard MCU fan, and I still enjoy their projects, but you cannot deny that Marvel has made some head-scratching decisions lately. They greenlit way too many shows that barely hold any relevancy to the multiverse saga, delayed important sequels that will be confusing once they are finally made, and a handful of projects earned Marvel their first overwhelmingly negative reviews in over 15 years. Lucasfilm, that could be a video for a whole other day, but this studio is too scared to make films because of the bipolar reactions to the sequel trilogy. Films I kind of enjoy. So how is Disney changing? How do we know Disney has heard us? Well, since this whole proxy war with the two shareholders happened, Disney has made some big steps to changing the company forever. Disney is investing into a lot of mature content for adults, and they are finally unafraid of doing something risky. Since they bought Fox in 2019, Disney now owns the likes of Alien, Predator, FX, and so much more, and instead of halting productions on TV, MA, rated R content, Disney has doubled down on it. And 20th Century Studios has practically saved Disney these last 4 years. Avatar: The Way of Water hit $2 billion worldwide, and the third film is one of the most anticipated projects for 2025. Prey became a critical and audience hit that's now spinning off 2 films where one is a direct sequel and the other will be Cowboys vs. Predators. Alien is getting a soft reboot where it's going back to being terrifying again, and we're getting a TV MA series on FX from the creator of Fargo and Legion. Rumor-wise, I'm hearing that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes looks to be another slam dunk for the franchise as it continues to build upon Matt Reeves' previous 2 films with spectacle and emotional depth. The Bear, Shogun, and nearly every FX show is killing it, and audiences can't get enough of them. Let alone the merger of Hulu into Disney Plus has blown expectations through the roof. But this is just one studio. What about the ones I mentioned before that are in trouble? Pixar is set to release a sequel to Inside Out that looks to be a return to form for the studio, tackling mature themes with kid-friendly humor. Then next year we're getting a fully original Pixar film in theaters again. Marvel is seeing the biggest metamorphosis as the studio is pivoting into the IP they didn't own before, but are fully utilizing an R rating Disney has prohibited them from even attempting. Deadpool and Wolverine is the most anticipated film of 2024, with its debut being the most watched trailer in film history. It's an unashamed R-rated film filled with all the nasty Deadpool humor audiences are craving, and it looks like Marvel wasn't restricted by Disney's old rules this time. X-Men 97 is currently dominating Disney Plus right now, and by giving into audience demand, the show is a nostalgic love letter to 90s kids everywhere. And I still can't believe that the show isn't holding back on any of the darker themes it wants to explore, especially for an animated show.
I think one of us has the wrong floor.
But the biggest change, the one that prompted me to make this entire video, is Daredevil. This show went to hell and back to get made, and I still can't believe it is happening. After originally being greenlit during the terrible content farm phase of Disney from the last few years, the show has been transformed. It went from a soft reboot to becoming a true season 4 of the Netflix series. Marvel heard our complaints and halted production, hired the directors of Loki Season 2 to helm the show, and is letting Daredevil be R-rated. This is a spoiler warning in case you don't want to know too much about Daredevil Season 4, so here's where I'll suggest you skip ahead. Still here? Okay. Punisher is making a return in Daredevil Season 4, and it looks like Disney's doing the one thing I thought they'd never do. Marvel is taking back Punisher's symbol from the cops. Honestly, this is the most confrontational Disney has ever gotten with our current problems in America, and the mere fact that they are doing this in the show is ballsy as hell. I've always wondered how Frank Castle would feel about all these cops misusing his logo. So now we are literally going to see that in Season 4 of Daredevil. And considering the leaked photos of Punisher, yeah, it's gonna be very R-rated. Okay, spoiler warning is over. Lucasfilm had the most quiet shakeup that I think people aren't fully grasping. I know that whenever you bring up Kathleen Kennedy, it causes some viewers to foam at the mouth, but listen, she's not really in charge of Star Wars anymore. Kinda. In the past, so many clickbait creators have told you that she's gonna get fired, but of course it was never true. However, she sort of got demoted. Dave Filoni, creator of Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Bad Batch, and so much more, well, he's the guy in charge of Lucasfilm now. He's the CCO, so now he's hands-on with every Lucasfilm project from here on out. So if you loved Clone Wars or Mando, Filoni will be in charge of every show and Star Wars film for the foreseeable future. We haven't even talked about how Walt Disney Pictures fired and then hired Searchlight Pictures president to run all 3 studios at once. From what it sounds like, Disney has grown frustrated by all the remakes that are underperforming and is looking to try some new things from the guy who brought us Poor Things and The Shape of Water. So yeah, things are about to get real weird at the House of Mouse. Finally. Disney is changing, but is this enough? Of course not. This is baby steps compared to the actual problems hurting these studios right now, but even a small acknowledgement is a massive win for general audiences. Disney's obviously a hot mess right now, and Dan Murrell did a great deep dive into how the succession plan at the company still needs to be their top priority. But this video is about you, the viewer who just wants cool Disney shit. Well, I'm happy to tell you it's coming, but for right now, we have to patiently wait as productions wrap up and content is released this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Atomic Vision, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Anything else to add, Willie?
Come get me, you sons of...
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.